I had a whole transition set up to go into this show, being that it's the debut episode of this show. And from what we just saw on AEW Dynamite Beach Break, I'm nearly speechless because great show overall, but how that show just went off the air, I kind of predicted that was going to happen just based upon the Moxley and Kenta match we had already building to. Didn't expect it that fast. That's what she said. I'm like in awe right now of what we just saw. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the debut episode of this week, the top AEW Dynamite moments, I guess you can say. It's a big way to start this show off with this week's episode being about Beach Break, which nearly ended 5 minutes ago on TNT. And as you can see here, I am repping the Psycho Boy merch, which is the essential character EC3's merch. You can check that out everywhere he's available. Check out the narrative on YouTube and the whole extended version on Amazon Prime. Excellent sort of documentary. I watched it. Really great. Had to get the merch. So shout out to the real essential character, EC3. Back to what we're talking about tonight, AEW Beach Break. I mean, let's be honest here. 41 degree weather in Tampa or Jacksonville, Florida. Being Beach Break kind of threw me off at the beginning. I had to kind of get myself into the beach vibes here, which is why I got the palm trees behind me. Meanwhile, I'm in New York with about 30 inches of snow in 25 degree weather. So Beach Break was a great experience for me, being that I wish I was elsewhere. So a lot of great things happened tonight. AEW Dynamite Beach Break. Surprisingly, my favorite moment of the night was not what I expected it to be. And my favorite moment of the night, I'm going to get to in a little while. I do want to talk about one of the better matches of the night, and that was Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa. Completely different outcome of what I expected. I predicted Thunder Rosa to get the win here. That didn't happen. We saw Reba get involved, take off the turnbuckle from the middle rope, ultimately knocking out Thunder Rosa, getting the win for Britt Baker. Excellent back and forth match. This is something I've been waiting for a long time from Britt Baker, because we know she can put on phenomenal matches. We know Thunder Rosa is a freaking legend icon already. So we knew that this was eventually coming for Britt Baker, because the matches she's been in her during her AEW run, let's be honest, they were not impressive. Great, but just not impressive. So this match, honestly, I think just changed things around. It was not what I expected it to be. Coming off Britt Baker's last feud, ending with that dentist office scene at the pay-per-view. So I'm happy to see where these two are. They elevate each other. But ultimately, Britt Baker getting the win over Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa being knocked out after that turnbuckle shot. What was it? The match between Eddie Kingston, Lance Archer, phenomenal match. Both of those guys are two of my favorite AEW superstars today. Lance Archer, and I tweeted it out before. Lance Archer is the monster that we desperately need. We have monsters all across the board in pro wrestling. We have obviously Braun Strowman in WWE, and you have Lance Archer here. He is the ultimate monster, in my opinion. The guy can be any part of the card and put on phenomenal matches, moves like a cruiserweight if he has to. I think a lot of great things are yet to come from Lance Archer. Hopefully a title run would be nice now that he's kind of in that face position, but I'm excited for his future in AEW. But Eddie Kingston, I mean, this guy talks a big game. He's great in the ring. He's got the history and the talent. He can lose every match, and I wouldn't mind, because he's just so damn good in the ring, and he gets my emotions going. He gets me invested. Like that's what he does, and I think Eddie Kingston is phenomenal. Don't mind me. It's 10:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm drinking coffee, so don't mind me. I got a lot of crap to do. But right now, we're doing this show, the debut episode of this week, the top AEW moments of the week. I'm your host, Joey Karni, and if you're just tuning in, we're talking about everything that just happened not even 10 minutes ago on AEW Dynamite, the pay-per-view event, sort of say. Beach Break just ended on TNT. We're talking about all the best moments that occurred in that show. That's leading me to the next match, which was actually the opener of the show, and that was the Battle Royal to determine the next contenders for the World Tag Team Championship. Now, I love this stipulation. For those of you who didn't know or who didn't catch the show, the stipulation was this is a Battle Royal for all the tag teams to earn a shot. The winner earned a shot at AEW Revolution, which is the next pay-per-view, I believe in February. And the winner of this Battle Royal gets an opportunity at the World Tag Team titles. Now, the AEW World Tag Team Champions are in the match. And if they win the match, they get to choose who they want to face at the pay-per-view. It's a great stipulation. It's a great thing we haven't really seen before. So I really enjoyed that. We saw FTR get suspended. They were ultimately kicked out of the match, not allowed in the match, and we saw them replaced with the Dark Order. Once this match started, which, by the way, I don't know why the Dark Order wasn't involved in this match in the first place, but whatever. They were involved despite FTR being suspended. They were in the match, and honestly, I thought they were the ones who needed to win. You put John Silver in any position of the card. I mean, put him in the opening match, put him on a pre-show, put him in the main event. The guy is just going to go off. He's a cannon. He's a loose screw. I mean, this guy is just the ultimate thing that's going on in AEW right now. I thought they were going to get the win, especially coming off of Brody's passing a few weeks ago. Actually, almost over a month ago already. I thought that they really should have gotten the win, elevate them a little bit. And if it wasn't them, it was obviously going to be MJF and Chris Jericho. And ding, 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 we got a winner. It's MJF and Chris Jericho. A lot of people were complaining, and you know what? We have to talk about this too. A lot of people are complaining about Chris Jericho being, 50 somewhat years old, still doing what he's doing. I don't know why you're complaining. Chris Jericho is one of the best ever to step in a professional wrestling ring. I don't care if you're not a fan of him now and you were 20 years ago. I don't care if you don't even know who he is, but you just think he's an old guy in the ring. Chris Jericho is a living legend. He deserves all the respect in the world. This guy rejuvenated his career a year ago, betting on himself, going into a startup company, AEW, betting on himself, becoming the first ever world champion for that company, adding just more things to his resume. Now, kicking ass as a tag team competitor with the biggest a-hole in pro wrestling today, and that is MJF. The guy can do anything. Say what you want. The guy is a living legend, and he's just going to continue to do that on his terms until he decides it's time to hang up the boots. I don't see any other 50-year-old doing a lion salt. He may not be the best at it anymore as he was, or he may, mess up here and there. Everybody does. Everybody does. It's inevitable that you'll mess up. So as long as you can keep going and doing what you do, I don't see what the problem is. So for you, those of you who have a problem with Chris Jericho still in the ring, you're an idiot. You don't get what he's doing for pro wrestling, and you probably shouldn't be watching pro wrestling. That's fine, though. Say what you want. Chris Jericho, a living legend, and MJF earning their shot at a World Tag Team title match at AEW Revolution in February. I believe it's February 13th or something like that. I think it's the night before NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, which was announced today. But we're talking about AEW Dynamite Beach Break right here on YouTube. Live, might I add, on YouTube. And for those who are just tuning in, this is a new weekly show by The Angle Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Karni. This is this week AEW Top Moments. This is going to be a weekly show talking about the best moments on Dynamite. Now, for those watching, I would like to ask your opinion if you would like to keep this just an AEW show, or should I incorporate NXT also and kind of make it a Wednesday Night Wars show and talk about the best moments of both shows, because I am a huge fan of NXT. I'm a huge fan of AEW. It's very hard for me to watch both shows, so I flip through every now and then. But tonight I was just dead set on AEW. Don't get me wrong, I flipped to NXT when Edge came out and put over literally everybody who he came in contact with. But ultimately, I watched AEW Dynamite. And back to what we're talking about, we had great matches throughout. But the moment that really, the moment of the night for me, honestly, and I'll get to who I think the MVP of the night is also, segment of the night for me was the wedding between Penelope and Kip Sabian. It was just, I don't know. Apparently, according to reports, it was a legitimate wedding. They actually got married tonight on AEW Dynamite, which was pretty cool. I don't think that's ever been done before. And if it has, I don't really care. This one was just fantastic. I'm a fan of both of those, and a lot of people just were like, I don't know, and they didn't really like it. I enjoyed it. I loved Miro. MVP of the night is Miro, formerly known as Rusev in WWE. He just had comebacks for everything. He was putting WWE on blast, and not even like on purpose. It's just like it's a joke at this point for him, I guess. Saying that he got married a few times, and when they went to go say like, oh, would anybody object, and he's like, no, I've been through this before, I know what happens, let's just get it over with. It's just a lot of references to his WWE days there when he went through his weddings with Lana and Bobby Lashley. So honestly, I don't think that was a jab at WWE in any way. It was just all in good fun. Like, it happened, so might as well make light of it and incorporate into what they're doing today and get it over. Why not? Miro being the MVP, I think, of the entire night, just the way he presented himself as the best man, should I say. And Chuck Taylor, with the, what are they called? I'm losing my mind. Handcuffs, attaching Miro to the rope. Chuck and Orange Cassidy taking out Kip Sabian, ending that segment. But congrats to the new married couple, Kip Sabian, Penelope Ford, actually legitimately getting married on AEW Dynamite at Beach Break, 40-degree weather. And I'm just trying to keep the theme going here with the palm trees in the background. So the main event of the night was a fantastic match that I can probably have watched the entire 2 hours of AEW Dynamite. That is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Kenny Omega, the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows, in six-man tag team action against Jon Moxley, Pac, and Rey Fenix. Now, there are so many one-on-one matches I would love to see with those six guys. So many tag team matches I would love to see with those six guys. Six-man tag team match, top of the list. Fantastic match tonight. Rey Fenix always impressing. Every freaking match this guy's in, he just steps it up every time. Pac really doing well against a larger competitor like Doc Gallows. Great to see him in the ring with Kenny Omega. Odd pairing, though, to see him with Jon Moxley. So that was really nice. And when Rey Fenix and Pac made their entrance, they didn't come through the tunnel. They came through the side, through the crowd, waiting for Jon Moxley. And I tweeted out, that was a moment I would love to see. I would never like to forget, because seeing Pac and Jon Moxley, these two guys were like rivals at the start of AEW Dynamite last year or so, come out together, like fist bump each other, and just get shit done in the ring. That was just an amazing moment. Pac really being a heel for a majority of his time as a pro wrestler. It was really cool to see him team with two big names like Rey Fenix and Jon Moxley. But not getting the job done tonight. Rey Fenix taking the Magic Killer from the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson getting the win over Rey Fenix. But it was the ending of that match that everyone is talking about, and everyone's still talking about it. It is 10:19 on a Wednesday night. I just had some sips of coffee. We just finished AEW Dynamite Beach Break, presented on TNT, and a lot of crap happened tonight. But really, this main event match, which led to the ending segment. So everyone's getting involved after the match. The bell rings. Everyone's taking each other out. Jon Moxley's left in the ring with Kenny Omega. He's thinking, I'm getting the best of this guy. I'm ending this night with putting Kenny Omega down, and a masked man, comes into the ring and just takes out Jon Moxley. And who was it? That was a horrible drum roll, but the man behind the mask, or behind under the hood, or whatever you want to say it is, Kenta from New Japan Pro Wrestling came in and hit a GTS, a go to sleep on Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley selling it like a champ, flopping around like a fish in the ring, helping Kenny Omega up. I kind of predicted, like I said at the beginning of this show, I kind of predicted this is where it was going, because we saw Jon Moxley next in line to face Kenta in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We saw the build-up. We saw the stare-down. We predicted that New Japan would somehow, some way get involved with this AEW Impact Wrestling's crossover stuff. We know when the Good Brothers first signed, the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions, when they signed, I had the privilege, the opportunity to interview both guys right when they signed with Impact and they made their debut. They told me and they told the world that in their Impact Wrestling contracts, they have a clause that states that they can go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, whatnot, and work over there if they want to. And it was only a matter of time before we actually saw that come to AEW. So all these people coming together, this is insane at this point. But there's one thing missing, and now that we saw Kenta show up, the champion of New Japan Pro Wrestling, we saw the AEW World Champion Kenny Omega, we saw the Impact Wrestling Champion Rich Swann involved. All these different promotions getting involved. There's one that's missing, and I actually spoke to the person who I hope shows up next this week in an interview on my YouTube channel. You can see it down below, hashtag youtube.com/The Angle Podcast. Posted an interview yesterday with the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the real world's champion, Nick Aldis. We spoke about if he would want to get involved, if there's any interest of him getting involved. And he said he's confident enough that he doesn't need to put his title anywhere near the others because he knows exactly where he stands as being the real world champion. We've seen NWA titles already presented in AEW, the NWA Women's Championship. A lot of stars making the jump over from NWA to AEW. We saw Thunder Rosa. We saw Eddie Kingston. We saw Ricky Starks, former NWA television champion. A lot of different stars are making their way over, doing crossover stuff, and I think it's only a matter of time before we see the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the real world champion, Nick Aldis, show up and stake his claim in that whole debate. Maybe we get Nick Aldis, Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega and Kenta. Battle of the promotions, or a fatal four-way. This, I don't know. But what we saw tonight, Kenta show up in AEW, take out Jon Moxley, help Kenny Omega. I'm in awe. I'm in awe of what we saw. Just the last, and we know this already, AEW has this thing where they put on a phenomenal show, and then the last 30 seconds to a minute of the entire broadcast, they pop us so hard that I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I know a lot of other fans aren't going to be able to as well. That's pretty much everything that happened on tonight's AEW Dynamite. We did have the match between with Matt Hardy and Hangman Page versus Project Chaos. Honestly, to me, that wasn't really that great of a match. I'm not sure what they're doing with Matt Hardy. I'm not really sure what they're doing with Hangman Page. Kind of just, no pun intended, but Hangman is kind of just hanging around, drinking, and I don't know really where his position is. But we have to just wait and see. Overall, great matches tonight. Great showing from everybody. Beach Break was a fantastic episode of Dynamite. A lot of great matches coming up next week. We know on the March 3rd episode of AEW Dynamite, Cody is going to be teaming with Red Velvet, taking on Jade and Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, you heard that right. The guy who's called his finisher tonight, the Black Tornado, is coming to AEW. He's going to be teaming with Jade to take on Red Velvet and Cody Rhodes. March 3rd, AEW Dynamite on TNT. I want to thank everybody for tuning in for this debut episode of this week, AEW's Top Moments. This is just a debut episode. This is not the finished product. There's going to be a lot of changes going forward. I would like to know what you want to see on this show. Like I said before, if I should make this an AEW and NXT show, since both shows run at the same time every Wednesday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you'd like to see both shows combined on this show and make it more like this week, the Wednesday Night Wars or something like that, or you just want to see one or the other, let me know in the comments. In the comments, and let me know what you want to see going forward. Like I said, this is not going to be the finished product. It's going to be changed all the time. It's going to make it. I'm going to make it bigger, better, and better. I have to. This is the Angle Podcast. I do things big here. Now, if you're not familiar with my show or what I do, I am the host. I am Joey Karni. It is a one-man band, baby. I do everything here between the writing, the editing, the interviewing, the podcasting, all that stuff. There's only one person here, and it's me. Unfortunately, if you're looking for anybody else, you're not going to get him because it's only me. I'm doing a new thing with the Angle Podcast. I'm going to be doing a show called The Angle's Live Dive every Monday night after Monday Night Raw, right here live on YouTube, going over everything we saw on Raw, diving into everything from Monday Night Raw. Wednesday, doing the same thing here. This week, like I said, the top moments of AEW Dynamite and possibly NXT going forward. You will be the ones to let me know in the chat or in the comments down below. And on Friday this week, I'm going to be having the debut episode of Get Smacked, which is going to be my Friday night show after Friday Night SmackDown, where you're going to get smacked with some knowledge and some expert analysis from Friday Night SmackDown, and you'll be seeing interviews this week's interview released on Tuesday, which was yesterday, with the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the real world champion, Nick Aldis. Did a career tell-all, talked about everything. There's a lot of details in there regarding a dream match he would love to have with Triple H and Randy Orton. He talked about being married to Mickie James and how they met and leaving TNA and Impact and declining offers from AEW and WWE. A lot of great knowledge on WWE booking and why he really decided to go against signing with those people. Going to NWA, building the brand with Billy Corgan and Dave Lagana around him. A lot of great stuff. Oh, and by the way, he gives you some great information regarding the return of NWA Power, which is coming soon. Go check that out on my channel if you haven't already. Real World Champion Nick Aldis interview available now. Next week, an interview available with the interview queen Alicia Atout. That will be a great, great piece of entertainment and knowledge for those who want to be in the podcast game, who want to learn more about how to start a podcast and tips and tricks and really some great advice as to be consistent and grow just like she has, being one of the best, if not the best, interviewer in the game today. Alicia Atout, great interview coming next week, I believe on Tuesday. The week after that, another great interview with the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Moose. Another career tell-all. He talks about being the legitimate TNA World Heavyweight Champion, how he hasn't lost yet, putting opponents down, how he wants to go after the Impact World Heavyweight Championship, which we kind of saw happen this past week on Impact Wrestling, and a lot of other great things, including if he will or if he finds, or if he has any interest in showing up on AEW Dynamite to kind of wave the flag for Impact Wrestling. So a lot of great stuff happening in the month of February. I want to thank you guys all for watching. I'm your host, Joey Karni. This has been the debut episode of AEW Dynamite. This week, the top moments of AEW Dynamite. I hope if you did not get a chance to watch Beach Break tonight on TNT, I hope this was a great piece of content that kind of ran everything down in about 20 minutes or so if you were not able to watch a 2-hour broadcast. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. I'm at 193 subscribers right now. We're almost at that 200 mark. And it's only up from here. You can follow all the social media at The Angle Radio. For more information, go to theangleradio.com. A lot of great stuff like I just went over coming very soon. And it's, like I said, only up from here. This has been a great episode. I've had some fun talking about AEW Dynamite. Like I said, I had a cup of coffee before. I am ready to roll. Got so much more stuff to do. Gonna go make some more content now. But stay tuned. There's always great stuff. And like always, it's such a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. I'm your host, Joey Karni. This has been the debut episode of this week, the top moments in AEW Dynamite. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and go share this video, please. Get us to 200 subscribers.